You wore a dress and dressed fancy and wore white gloves. And some ladies wore hats. And we had maybe 60, 70 people at a meeting. And we did a lot of things, and that went on for the longest time.
And what year was that, Rose?
1971. We were formed in March of 1971. Now this is 44 years ago, so we have to really think about this. I remember invitations went out to different people in the community. And I remember one of the Harrisburg chapters is our sponsor. They started and sponsored our group. We had to have 25 members to begin the group, and Brunner was very instrumental. She worked at the unemployment office, because I know I was working at Walker's Jewelers at the time, and I couldn't go to the meeting because they wanted to interview us and tell us what we were going to be doing and what we were all about. So they came in to talk to me, so of course I was impressed. It was a Betty something, but I can't think of her last name. She interviewed me. So anyhow, that's how we started. And I know, I would say we probably had a good 50 members to start. We had good meetings. When we had our boss night, we always would bring, you could bring your husband, or you could bring your boss, or you could bring a boyfriend or whatever, and then they would give a trophy. The ladies would write a essay on their bosses, and then they would present them with the trophy. That night, we wore evening gowns, and they really dressed up and did it big. At one point, we had too many members. I think we were up around 100, and I'm going to say 130. So National didn't want that because they felt a lot of the women weren't getting involved. So they wanted us to split, and that's how the other chapter came about. But when we did that, we lost a lot of good members because they didn't know if they wanted to stay here, go with the new chapter, so they just dropped out, which to me was a cop-out, but that's the way it was. But we always had good times. How we always were trying to bring new people in, and then of course we were rewarded from National, because I know I sponsored 49, and I had different charms to show it, and there's quite a few of us in here that belong to the inner circle. I think you do, don't you, Rosey? And I think Mary Blows does. Stevie Hauser, okay, sorry. And when we would go to National, then they would always have one night that they would honor us. You know, it was a special dinner for, like they had a special night for the Woman of the Year, they had a special night for the inner circle, and I remember there was a woman there that was in her 90 that sponsored 80 chapters. Can you imagine? She was wonderful. And to start a new chapter, like I said, you had to have 25. Today, I know some of our chapters only have 8 members. So we're still in the running here, which is good. I think we have, what, not 29 members? Let's see, what's anything else you can think of?
Well, when we had boss night, we the members would do skits. And it was at the hotel out there, which at that time was the Treadway. And we did like a hillbilly event. And my husband did the music, and we brought in bales of straw, and we all dressed kind of like hillbillies and so on. We had skits like that, and every year we did something, but all the members were involved and, you know, did different things. I can't remember all the skits, but that one I remember precisely.
Can you name some people that we might recognize who were charter members?
Well, Susie Troy was a charter member. She's gone. Sandy Rosey was at that point. Minnie Albright. I think Florence Hennies too was. Yeah, because I remember the Go Get Girls, I think, came in at that point, and Ann Brunner was in. She was talking about that night. That was the one where we did a takeoff of Seesaw. What was it? Joanne and I were on the Seesaw. I remember I was Dolly Parton, and who were you? You were the guy. What? It was one of those on TV, one of the... Yes, Hee-Haw, right. And Henrietta Steiner rode in her motorcycle. Do you remember that? That was good. But I know we brought in bales of hay, and the next morning, I guess there must have been bugs in the hay because they told us about it. Because we left it there. They said, leave it there, they'll take care of it. But we did, and we had all the judges. Florence Henneye's always brought all the judges and paid for their dinners. She had like Judge Gates, Eby, she had Jackson, this congressman, Al Boscow, offhand, I can't, and Walters, yeah, and they all sang and performed with us. They enjoyed that, really. And we always had good times, though. And even when we used to go to national conventions, there were like 25 of us, you know. And I remember one night we were in Philly. That was a regional convention. We had evening gowns on, and we went to a restaurant. I remember we went up a cable, and it was on the top of the hill. And when we came off, now some of us were loaded, okay, we had a little bit too much to drink, so we're in a good mood, and we're singing and carrying on. And the bus came forth to take us back to the hotel, and it was a female driver. And at first she didn't want to take us because she thought we were all inebriated. We said, no, we're just having a good time, you know. So finally she left us on the bus, and we had some really great times, and I really miss that because I said you got to meet a lot of people, really did. And I remember one time we were on the paddle boat up in Harrisburg, the double-decker, remember? And people, we had good turnouts. I mean, I can't remember how many people were there, but I got to meet a lot of people through that, and then we kept, you know, corresponding in that, and a lot of them were up in years, but they were the nicest people, really. And like I said, if any of you get a chance to go to regional or national, please go, because you'll certainly enjoy it. At one point, we used to always send a president and then the Woman of the Year, and we paid for it. That we always figured too, you know, going for company and safety reasons, and they could room together. And we used to party most of the night. I don't know if you got too much sleep, but it was always nice. And I know through the years things have changed now. The last time I went to Operaland in Nashville, I roomed with Janelle, and we had a real good time. When I was younger, I stayed up most of the night. I was back in the hotel by 9:30, and Joanne, she said, do you care if I go out? I said, please go. I said, I just can't handle it anymore. So, but we did, we had a good time. So